Hi class, this is Dr. Earls just checking in during week 2, and this is late Friday night. Normally I'll have your grades to you by Friday following the week's work that you submitted on the prior Sunday. For this first week's grades, it'll come up tomorrow, Saturday, that you'll receive those grades. I want to just say for next week you have your first book critique, and that'll be over Malfer's strategic planning book. Again, that's to be 3 sections, giving your summary, critique, and application. I'd like to ask you to spend the bulk of your work in these book critique papers to be mainly in your application use of what you've derived and gleaned from that particular book. And again, the word counts to be between 900 and 1500 pages for these papers, the book critiques. Hope you're enjoying this week's discussion board work, working through the videos and the presentations by Dr. Falwell and Dr. Falls. Tremendously important subject matters coming off of your work with Barna last week. Again, I'd mentioned about Collins and his work. He's been in such great demand. He's turned down many, many invitations to speak to businesses, even to the U.S. Senate. But again, his pilgrimages involved his working with Bill Hybels at his Leadership Summit Conference. And he had made that commitment over 10 years ago to begin reading through the Bible for himself. Again, he's not come to faith in Christ personally yet. Pray for him for that. But a man of quite an example of integrity. And his book will be very, very practical as far as understanding how bodies of entities need to work together, and especially the leadership as he describes it, level 5 leadership, what that should be like. One of the things I appreciate about Collins' research is that he noted that the successful companies generated leaders out of their own ranks instead of looking for leaders from the outside to come in. Spurgeon, that preached in London in the 1800s and had the pastor's college, made the comment once that if we would look more within our own ranks, we would find more of our future leaders. For the local church work, I think that means and implies 2 Timothy 2:2. We should be so working as local church families that we're actually raising up potential leaders for the church itself, but definitely to send out leaders to become pastors and church planters for other churches. You'll love Rick Warren. I'm sure you've read him already, but when Rick did Purpose Driven Church back in '95, he had been there at Saddleback for 15 years and had experienced a lot of that before he wanted to write it out. So it comes with experience and authenticity, and Rick is just very, very practical. The one note that should be understood that Rick has repeated over the years, he never intended people to copy him and try to clone his methodologies as a copy and paste approach to the principles that he writes about. His desire was just to write a story about taking God's principles, trying to apply them wisely, and formalizing that into a philosophy of basically how to lead a church to carry out the Great Commission, and to do that in such a way so the church can work together and have a unified effort of being under Christ's lordship and being a team together for Christ. So when you go into that work on Rick, you'll want to bear that in mind. That's always been Rick's heartbeat, although many, many pastors have tried to copy and paste Rick, and it's really caused some problems because they applied it to a context that wasn't ready or did not match South Orange County, where Saddleback is located in California. Well, thanks class. Look forward to this week's work. I'll have your grades up tomorrow from your work with Barna, and then also prepare for your first book critique coming up next week. God bless you. Have a great weekend in Christ, guys. Bye.